Right, okay, thank you. Yeah, so I hope all of y'all can hear me. I'm Kumar. I think yesterday y'all had a class with Anju. So today I'm going to do the strategic case study with y'all. And you can keep your mics mute, but anytime when you want to raise a question, when you want any clarification, you're always free to unmute the mic and ask a question, or you can even put it on the chat box. You're free. This is a interactive class, so don't worry. At any time, if you all want to disturb me, I'm surely available. You can do it. Okay, so we are going to start the class. I'm recording this lesson, and you may be able to hear it later on if you want it. Right, I think yesterday Anju did lot of questions and lot of things of focus. So I'm not going to look at many of the areas what she would have done, but just to keep myself introduced, I'm from Sri Lanka. I'm Kumar, and for last 7-8 years I've been doing this online tuition, and basically earlier the top CIMA case study, but now for last 6 exams, this will be the seventh. It is a strategic case study, managerial case study, and operational case study. So I just want to share a few of my thoughts about how to approach this case study. Just to give you a few thoughts, probably which may be helpful for you. A few things. Number one, always remember that you are working for this company. So remember, you're part of AEN. You are a senior manager advising to the board of directors on strategic matters. So you must, uplift your mental image to be that kind of a person all the time. Never think you're a student. Never think it's an exam. The 6 weeks, the pre-scene is available before the exam. So we have just about 1 month more before the exam. My few suggestions, I think I have done about now more than 100 students all over. My few suggestions is, now it's good time every day, just like you read your Quran or read your Bible or whatever it may be, start reading the pre-scene every day. 10-15 minutes, just spend it. Try to understand the company. Try to know who this Luke is. Try to know who this Fiona is. That kind of a thing is going to help you. Because what I want to tell you, even though you are sitting for exam and this is the final exam that you are going to sit, this is going to make a big difference in your life just after this exam. And once you get the results, when you have got through the exam, you are almost a ACMA. You are a member of the CIMA Institute, which is a fantastic feeling that for you, any one of us to have it. So all of y'all must put that extra effort next 30 days, next 28 days. Put up that all your effort, sacrifice whatever, anything, everything to do this exam well. Having said it's an exam, I want to shift my focus a little bit. I want you to understand this case study. Don't take it as an exam. Think that you're working in this company, just like any of you are working in any of the places. Every day in an organization, we come across many problems, particularly at strategic level. It may be a competitor threat. It may be a product uh, not doing very well. It may be some media adverse report about your company. It may be a key employee wanting to leave the company. It may be something like something like what? Something like some person want to get out of the company. It may be some person wanting to take over your company. So you find on a daily basis certain problems cropping up to your company, certain issues flaring up. It can be a good issue, it can be a bad issue. It may be, some product that you launched is doing much more better than what you planned, and you probably want to increase the output, whatever. So there will be all sorts of things happening, and what we need is simply a kind of a scenario where we try to help our board of directors, particularly because you are a very senior person, with your knowledge, with your communication skills, and with your leadership skills and business skills. And as you know, this paper is marked on 4 different skills. I'm sure you all must be knowing these things, but I'm just going to share a few things. This marked on 4 different skills: technical, business, leadership, people skills. So these are the 4 skills. This paper is marked out of 150 marks. 150 marks. And in each of these skills, we are being weighted on a 25%. So out of 150, 37.5 technical, 37.5. And out of this 37.5, for you to get to the exam, in each of these areas, you must get 60%. So on the technical skills, you must get 22.5. Business 22.5. Leadership 22.5. People skills 22.5. Total 90. But just getting 90 total will not help you. Say, for example, in technical, if you get 17, even if you get, say, 25, 25, 25, in other areas, you may get 92, but still you will fail the exam because you have not got enough marks on the technical. So unfortunately, it's marked through there's a particular software through which they go to this business leadership and people, and none of us have a kind of a predetermined idea, the unseen what we are going to get, and also the way that they will look at. But what we know is whenever they call about technical skills, whenever you are writing a particular solution, you must support it with particular models. So for example, you know, in your E3, you have learned some of the models, right? In P3, you have learned some of the models. So what I suggest is, you know, you can't memorize all the models, but there are certain common things we can always use it. We must, whenever we are writing, we must refer to those things. For example, the SWOT. You must say, as per SWOT analysis, we are over dependent on one particular source of revenue, only wind power. Something like that. We can do a pistol. So what I'm suggesting is, before even now you can start doing things. So already the SWOT is given in the precinct. You can go on doing, right? So SWOT, the pistol. Then you know the Porter's 5 forces analysis. Then very important one will be the ends of matrix. New products, new markets, new products, existing market, old products, old markets, all that kind of a thing. You can use that one. And so then the Porter's 5 forces, as I said, you can use a very, very important, whenever there is evaluation, you can use the model, what we call Johnston's scores, suitability, acceptability, feasibility. So in your Dropbox, I have put up a little bit of a note on this area. Sorry, suitability, acceptability, feasibility model. I would like, if you all want to go to that one, try to get few things out of these models, And few models, keep it up because you can't remember everything. But when you come for the P tree, maybe things like interest rate parity theory, for the purchasing power parity theory, then maybe the Fisher formula if that's relevant. See, then also maybe the on the F3 area, the net present values, internal rate of returns, payback, corporate governance in P3. So like that, always you must speak with lot of technical backing because you have to remember you are an expert. You are someone, and one of the most useful models that we have on the technical is the CIMA code of ethics. So remember the CIMA code of ethics? Integrity, professional behavior, professional competency, objectivity, confidentiality. Just keep on mentioning these things. You are going to get those marks. I saw some in the previous groups. I saw some brilliant answers, but unfortunately, they have not mentioned any of these technical models. So this is just a quick tip for you all. Every time when you see that computer screen, when you read that question, try to see what are the models I'm going to put it up here and talk about it. And also you have this the change management model, freeze, unfreeze, all that kind of a thing. There can be many models, the value chain, value analysis, functional analysis. Many of those things you can use it, and please start using those things in your answers. I'm going to look at some mocks today. Then the business skills. Now remember, you are not a kind of academic. You are not a person who is answering a paper, exam paper. Whatever you are going to suggest, it must have what we call business sense, right? Maybe the company is going through some kind of a liquidity difficulty. And there may be certain suggestions coming from your board of directors or from your colleagues saying, for example, Mohammed, why don't we go for a short overdraft, temporary overdraft? Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, but that is costly. Some person may suggest, why don't we go for factoring of our receivables? We can collect some money by factoring our receivables. Yes, it's a good idea, but it is going to cost us factoring fees. A third person may come out with the idea and say, you know, we have already given 60 days credit for the customers to pay. Why don't we ask the customers to pay quickly in advance? Now that may look a very good sound solution because you are collecting money quickly and you don't need to pay any interest on overdraft, any factor in fees. So financially, that's a sound proposal. But business-wise, it's not a good proposal. Why? Imagine I'm the customer, Mohammed is the finance manager. I have been given 60 days credit, and now Mohammed comes and says, hey Kumar, can you pay me, in 5 days time? What will I think of AEN company finance manager or the finance director, right? They are not planned. They are in some financial crisis and they are coming and asking me money. Now that is not a good business proposal. So just because the financiers say something, we should not go by that kind of a thing. We must be looking all the time for much more solid proposals. That is what we should be looking. Something which has a commercial sense. For example, your managing director might come and tell you, the workers are going to go on strike, and I'm thinking, better ignore them. Now that may not be very sound, right? Because if you try to ignore them, they might go on strike, and it can create lot of unwanted problems. It may be better for you to listen to them. Particularly in this case of AEN, you might find lot of problems from this environmentalist and the protesters. Now, you suggesting to ignore that is not a very good business proposal. Every time we must listen to these people, but we must be very strong enough to counterattack any of those things, whatever they are saying, truthfully, with full of integrity. As CIMA students, CIMA members, we cannot ever be untruthful. We can never be professionally incompetent in whatever we say, that kind of a thing. So that's what we call the business skills. So whenever you draft a reply, you must be looking for those things. Leadership. You are advising the very top people at the board level, and probably looking at your suggestion, they might go ahead because, Muhammad told it is good, or, one of your people says it's good, and therefore they will think of it. Right? So they might say, Wasim is saying it's good, let's go with it. But therefore, you have a bigger responsibility. You must always make very strong recommendation. So even though if sometimes examiner or your managing director is not asking your recommendation, whenever he asks in your views, you must finally give a recommendation. These are the top CIMA model long time back. Always a recommendation, justification, and certain action plan. Now that's a good style for you to do your answer. I have seen, people who have followed some of these good tactics. We are saying this with a lot of experience. Those people have successfully completed this exam with little stress, little a kind of a tension for them. Remember, take this as not as an exam, take this as a day-to-day office matter, and be relaxed in that exam atmosphere. Uh, Try to, allow the common sense to flow more into your head rather than trying to, get blocked up looking at that computer screen. Oh my God, I don't know. This is much more easier than your objective test question paper, I will tell you, because you don't have too much of calculations to do, in fact, hardly any calculations to do. It's just simply using your office knowledge, using your common sense, and coming out with what we call a solution that is fit for the moment. Most of these solutions we are looking is for some crisis or some opportunity that has come today or maybe last week. But that's not the end of it. We must look at the long term. Maybe that we are having a problem with our employees. We can settle the problem by giving them a, whatever the incentive or what health and safety measures. But that's not the end. We must look at from a long term point of view. How to prevent it happening next time, right? So what are their problems? Can we appoint a committee to go into that one? Maybe the customer is complaining the quality of the goods are not good. Can we think of a quality circle? So this is what the leadership is all about. Finally, we come to the people skills. Now remember, we CIMA people are good communicators. So at least we ought to be good communicators. We need to communicate our views very well to the other people. When I write something to my managing director or CEO and says he should not be running about all over saying that, yeah, this Kumar has written something, I can't understand it, can you explain it? Now that is a bad communication on part of Kumar. People skills means we must do it in the simplest way, most approachable way. Now, you and I know when we read a book or a mail for that matter, simply, right? If the mail is, very excited and presented in such a way, we will read it from top to the end. But if the mail is, very passive and boring starting point, we will not even read it. We will just leave it, thinking we will read it tomorrow, and tomorrow will never come. Your report or your paper, whatever that is given to your boss, should be so excited that you must visually picture him standing and reading this report. He will get up from the chair the moment he opens his email or the report, whatever he has got from you, and he will read it that way. That is what we call people skill. So you must get this habit of getting into the emotions. You're working in this company. Anything good happening in this company, your CEO or Fiona or some person comes and says, "Hey, because that we have got a new proposal." Oh, that is going to make you happy. Yeah, because you are a senior person. You must be very happy that the company is getting something like that. And that must be expressed in that paper. You can say, I'm so happy that the company has got a project like this. On the other side, some press report has come about the company, destroying the company. You must show that emotion, saying, oh my God, I'm very shocked how these people wrote a thing like that about us, about our company. Now, that is what we call people skill. Now, if you see the answers of the CIMA answers, they may not give all that kind of a thing. But don't get carried away with that answers, because the answers itself says these are only a kind of, they are not to be considered exhaustive. The other appropriate relevant responses would receive credit. So you can get a lot of good points from the answers, but surely that answer is not a very, very comprehensive answer. By answering like that, you are not going to get through this exam. So make it exciting. Remember the 4 skills and try to work through the 4 skills all the time. Right? So these are a few things which I want to share it with you all. And you remember this paper has 3 sections. Most of the time it is 60 minutes, 60 minutes, 60 minutes, but it can be sometimes 60, 75, 45. Whatever it is, it's a 3-hour paper, 180. But we will not see the second section till we complete the first section. So in the first section, for example, if it is 60 minutes, even if you do it in 50 minutes, the 10 minutes saving you can't carry forward for the second section. So don't try to save time on the first section thinking you can add that time for the second. No, you can't. You must do the maximum in the first section, because the first section ends up and no time can be carried forward to the next section. Also, if you run short of time, unfortunate, you have run short of time. So I always advise, if it is a 60 minutes first section, take 15. Yeah, Vikas, yes, you can tell me, yeah. You can unmute your mic and speak to me.
Yeah, in fact, you're breaking up, Kumar. In between, I tend to lose you. I don't know whether everybody else is having same problem or it's just my internet connection.
What about the others? What about the others? Do you all have problems with the connections? Can you hear me very well?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, we can just try, but sometimes I know when I try to write on the board, it may break up. Right? Anyway, just see if you are having some disturbances, just let me know, because I'm on a very super internet connection. But most of the time what happens is when I try to write on the board, it gets disturbed. So that is why sometimes when I'm writing on the board, I don't speak. Okay, right. So yeah, coming back, what I was trying to tell you all was, look at that the 60 minutes and try to take about 25% of the time, 15 minutes, to read the question. Now, you must understand this. If your boss sends you an email, you are not going to reply immediately, right? You will read it, understand what this boss is asking. You will take little time to plan your answer, and then only you will start answering the question. So similarly, what I want is take about 15 minutes, think to yourself, what is she asking? What should I do? And then only start answering. And keep about 5 minutes for final review, because when if you do an email, if you do a report, you are not going to just do till the last minute and send it. You want to see whether spelling is all right, whether the presentation is all right, whether you have covered everything. And for that purpose, keep 5 minutes. So 15 plus 5, 20 minutes gone. So we have 40 minutes left over. That 40 minutes, I must see what are the things she's asking. So if she's asking 5 things from me, I must take 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes. Don't overwrite. Most of the time, the examiner says lot of students are overwriting and they don't cover every area. Remember, when your boss asks 5 things, you must reply to all the 5 things. Just replying 3 things and telling her that, I did not have time, that's not very good. So you must manage your time, because this paper, we have seen it to be a very time-stressed paper. So remember a few of those things whenever you are at that exam center. Then coming back to this, our AEN case, I'm sure that you all have studied this case very well now, but still another 28 days, 30 days is there. I want you all to do more reading on this case. Few things I do it, in fact, I do it every day, to tell you very frankly. I read this case every day, taking 15 minutes of my time to go through this one, and that's how I have been able to put up some mocks for you all. In your Dropbox, there are 5 mocks already. And if you do those 5 mocks, I can guarantee you that you will be somewhere there. I'm going to do some of the mocks with you all. But what I want is to remember this company very well. Remember, this company was founded somewhere in 2000. So it's about 16-year-old company. And also, it was founded by 4 people. They are not family members. They were working in some place, and 3 of them probably in one university, and then a lawyer joining them, the 4 people. And you can see all 4 of them are not real business sense people. They are academics and a lawyer, right? So they are not those Bill Gates type of entrepreneurs. So maybe at a later time, you might want to think whether you want to bring a new CEO who can, give a better strategic direction for these companies. Something which I want you all to think about it, something probable question that can come up. Because remember, Luke took over as the CEO just a couple of years back, and Luke was also academic, but they don't have a chairman in this company. So remember your corporate governance. But again, remember, this is not a UK company. This is a company in a country called Friesland. So there may be certain differences, but surely the UK corporate governance is a model which we can always use. Even though it may not be directly applicable to Friesland, we can say in a model such as UK corporate governance, and you can go on. But remember, right at the moment, this is not a listed company. Now, I want you all to note down there are 3 types of companies we can have it. I hope some of you all are taking some notes, because this can be very useful. There are 3 types of companies we will have it in anywhere, in any part of the world. One is what we call public listed companies. Generally in UK, if it is a public listed company, they will have the name, behind the name, PLC. Most of the other countries also it's same, but Friesland we are not very sure. But for almost we are sure with the pre-scene that is given, this is not a public listed company. Why do I say so? Because they don't have a share price. They don't have any non-executive directors. So very unlikely to be a public listed company. Then there are 2 other forms of company. It can be a public unlisted company. public unlisted company. The other one is what we call private company. So what is the difference between a public unlisted company? The first company I said was public listed. I'm almost sure so far it is not a public listed company because there is no share price details given. And in fact, if you really look at the past 6 pre-scenes we were given, last year it was Dream Park, Rio, Look, all that. If you really look at Sleek, I think this is the only company they are given unlisted company. But being unlisted company, I'm still not sure whether it is a public unlisted company or a private company. What's the difference? I want you all to understand the difference. In a public unlisted company, shares can be transferred from one person to the other person. You know, if I'm holding shares in AEN, if it's a public unlisted company, I can transfer my shares. If Vikas is interested in buying my shares, we agree at a price and I can transfer without getting any approval from anywhere. But if it is a private company, I can't transfer shares like that. I must get the approval of the board of directors if I want to transfer my shares to Wasim. In both these cases, we have a problem. There is no share price.